What's up, y'all? This is Matt. Um, Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. It's morning here. As you can see, I'm in my skull cap and I'm still in my onesie. Just woke up. But I'm thinking about UDL and, I'm just reflecting on my understanding of particularly multiple means of action and expression as it's developed really since the first time I learned about UDL during how people learn over the summer. And at the time we were talking, or I had written a paper about quality performance assessments uh, that are expand the way the skills that are tested on like standardized tests, for example. And um, in the paper, I talked about how these quality performance assessments are aligned with UDL, the Universal Design for Learning, and action and expression, uh, which we're learning about this week in my UDL class. And it's crazy. I had talked about it, I'd written about it, but not really understood the principles of UDL at that point. Um, and so my thing about UDL is just expanded, uh, exploded really. I feel like I'm learning so much about UDL in this class. And so in class on Monday, we were talking about standardized testing and testing in schools for the benefit of having a lot of data. And then we were um, having a discussion about whether the data can be all encompassing, um, be the end all to be all, uh, in terms of when does the deeper learning happen in the classroom, and are we, for example, spending time on these SEL skills that we're learning are so important um, to 21st century learning. So that's the stuff we should be really drilling on in schools, right? Deeper learning, higher level thinking, critical thinking, collaboration, all of these um, different um, intelligences, right? So we're learning about multiple intelligences now. So it's all these different intelligences, and when we're like assessing on the multiple intelligences versus the one intelligence, literacy, and math, and like we understand that those are important um, subjects. You need to be able to read, right? Uh, you don't want to get my age and not learn to read and write, right? That's what Nas said, and I can. But there's more. And by only focusing on this small area of intelligence in our schools, by focusing on the data all the time, um, it takes, it paints our kids in a deficit. Um, like it makes our kids seem deficit uh, instead of like assets. Like they're bringing all of these things to the classroom, like knowledge of funds um, that we're not capturing if we're drilling on the assessments. But at the same point, I understand data is necessary to inform our teaching, uh, and we should be adapting our teaching to the data. Um, but I think the quality performance assessments allow us to get that data uh, while appreciating the multiple intelligence of people. So, in our kids, and painted them as assets, and finding the joy in education. That's really what it comes down to. Um, but also be teaching the critical thinking and critical consciousness, for example, while developing those 21st century skills of collaboration, working across cultures. Um, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in class.